This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Melinda. I'm with Travel Central here in Metairie. We welcome you all to our presentation on Finland, Iceland, and Norway. You truly are in for a treat today. Joining me is Claudio Nilsson. He's with Delta Scandinavia, and I could be wrong, but I think he's joining us from Denmark today. But he'll make sure to let us know where he is. He'll share information on 3 incredible journeys that we have planned for next year. One, a winter Finland and Iceland, and one in Norway in the summer. Travel Central has just returned this morning. Actually, this morning we got internet electricity in our office opened up after Hurricane Ida. We are a light staff, but we are going on, and so we will. If everyone could help me today by muting yourself and not making any noise throughout the presentation, it sure makes for a better presentation. And then also, if you have questions, please put it in the chat box, and we will answer all questions in the chat box. So now let's get started and talk a little bit about who Travel Central is. So Claudia, if you want to go to the next slide, Claudia.
1 second, I'm trying to move it. Just let me, yes, here we go.
Perfect, thank you. Travel Central has been in business since 1988, so about 33 years. We have a team of incredible staff whose only goal is to offer you their expertise, resources. The real important thing about our advisors, you have one advisor who is dedicated to you. He or she will answer all the questions, share advice on vacations, and most importantly, work with suppliers that we know, and we also know what kind of services they provide. If we have challenges or issues, they always take care of it. In addition, we also offer some additional enhancements and amenities on most of our vacations, whether it's an onboard credit on a cruise or a private cocktail party while at a restaurant in Denmark, Finland, or Scotland. So with that, once again, if you have questions, we'll ask you to put them in the chat box. Claudio is going to present right now. We'll go through this presentation on Finland, Iceland, and Norway. And then once we finish the presentation, we'll answer questions after that. We will also record the presentation, and there'll be a follow-up email that will go out tomorrow or the next day with a recorded presentation. Again, if you can mute yourself, we greatly appreciate it. So myself, next year, I'm going to Norway. I'm going to be spending 6 nights in Norway, all by rail. It's an independent vacation, but we welcome you to join us. We have a group going on a Holland and Belgium river cruise, and then following that with a Norway 6 nights by rail. It's a fantastic vacation, and Claudia will talk about today. Our other advisor, Bailey, who's pictured here and currently in Peru, so she's not going to be joining us today, will be doing a winter vacation to Iceland and Finland. So the Northern Lights, igloos, cold weather is your kind of thing. Winter in Iceland and Finland is probably a great vacation for you. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Claudio, and he'll present to us all 3 vacations, Iceland, Finland, and Norway. Thank you, Claudio.
Thank you very much, Melinda. So, it's my pleasure to present you these 3 journeys. I start right away with the first one. It's only chronological order, so we start with Finland, which is scheduled for March 21st. This is a very nice trip. We are going to Finnish Lapland, so to the northern part of the country. Lapland is a bigger region, I mean, that includes also Norway, Sweden, and Russia, but we are focusing on this trip on the Finnish part. We are right under the Arctic Circle, in a moment of the year where there are not so many hours of daylight. We actually even like it because we go in March. If we were going in January, it would be really complicated to see the daylight. On the other hand, if you go to this area of the world, when it's summer, you are going to have this phenomenon called the midnight sun, because the sun stays up all night. So it's a very special place. Lapland is the home of the Sami, which are the locals, I mean the Lappish people, and with all the tradition and all the cultural heritage from many centuries. The arrival of the tour is in Rovaniemi, which is considered the capital of Finnish Lapland. The population is, I mean, we're talking about small towns. I mean, in general, all the Northern Europe, you never see, I mean, the biggest city of all in Northern Europe is Stockholm in Sweden, which has 1.5 million inhabitants, so it's not that big. Here we go to the Arctic region, where of course the towns, the villages, they are pretty small. So as you see here, the biggest city of all in Finnish Lapland is only 60,000 inhabitants. It is famous, at least here in Europe. Rovaniemi is very famous because it's the hometown of Santa Claus. This is where you're gonna see the Santa Claus village. We stay in the city center with our hotel, a 4-star hotel. It's called Scandic Rovaniemi. And the city center, of course, being a small town, everything is really close by, everything is in walking distance. So once we have the hotel in the center, everything is really easy to reach. On the first night, so the night of the arrival, we are going immediately for a very cool experience, which is a dinner in the ice restaurant. So as soon as you arrive, you're going to experience something very, very nice here. Then following day, we're going to see the Santa Claus village. We're going to meet Santa Claus. We are going to spend some hours in this beautiful place. It's not only for children. Actually, there are many adults that really like this place. After that, and after a nice lunch in this place, we are going to our next destination, which is a special resort in a small town, again in Finnish Lapland, called Pyhä. We have booked the whole property, which is not that big, but that makes it even more exclusive. It's only 8 rooms. It's called Sunday Morning Resort. The very nice thing with this resort is, besides that we booked it all for our group, for Travel Center, is that here we can start all our excursion. It is a remote place, which has only advantages in this case. From here, we can do our excursions like the Husky Safari. We can go for a snowmobiling tour. Here they have the electric snowmobile, so it's really also, let's say, eco-friendly. We're gonna meet the reindeers, and because of the position of this property, we can every evening, every night, it's going to be a good night to go and see the Northern Lights. So the program is to stay here for 3 days. During these 3 days, we do several activities, but there is also some spare time to do some other activities for those who want more. You can do ice climbing, you can do ice karting, you can go see an amethyst mine that is located very close by this property. You can go for snowshoes activities. So there are many things to do, and you are going to have a lot of fun, and you're going to see a lot of beautiful things. First of all, Northern Lights, of course. As you see from some of the pictures here, the properties has a very Lappish style. All is built in wood. They are very cozy lodges, so there are some hotel rooms. All the meals while we're staying there are included. The food is very high quality. I would also say gourmet food. This is because the chef is one of the most famous chefs in Finland. Maybe it's not famous abroad, but in Finland is a celebrity. And for our guests, there is a sauna disposal. That means sauna is a really typical Finnish thing to do, and every person, also in the big cities like Helsinki, they own a sauna. They have access to a sauna, so you can't miss, and it's an experience that we have to do absolutely once we are in Finland. After the 3 days there, with all the activities that I described and all the things that I mentioned, we move on to the last but not least night, where we are going for a short drive to another place called Luosto. Here we reach a hotel, which is called Santa Hotel Aurora. Here, what do we have? They have a normal hotel with the hotel rooms and the restaurant and everything. The restaurant is actually where we're going to have breakfast and we're going to have dinner. But this property has some glass igloos. So we are going to spend the night in these glass igloos, which gives us the possibility to see the Northern Lights just by looking out of the window. There are many times when everybody says that they want to do special experiences and when traveling abroad, and I couldn't suggest any more special than an overnight in a glass igloo. It's really fantastic. Of course, there's no guarantee to see the Northern Lights, but the experience itself to sleep in a glass igloo is already something special. Plus, if the Northern Lights appear, of course, this is going to be unforgettable. So it's really a fantastic experience. This is the last night of this tour in Finland, and then we go back to Rovaniemi the following day, which is only 1 hour and 15 minutes. So as you see, we don't travel so much, so it's not an uncomfortable trip. Everything is close by. The places, the towns, the villages that I mentioned, they're all 20-30 minutes far from each other, and the longest trip we make is 1 hour and 15 minutes the last day for going from the glass igloos to the airport again. For those who want to do a pre or post tour, there is my suggestion is to include this excursion to the icebreaker. So from Rovaniemi, it's a long trip, it's 11 hours for the full day tour, let's say, and 4 of them are on this icebreaker. It's called icebreaker cruise. While staying on the icebreaker, there are other experiences to do, and the most important one is, of course, to float in the ice. As you see, after 1 hour or 2 of sailing, the icebreaker, of course, what does it do? It breaks the ice, of course. So at some stage, the captain reaches a place where it's safe enough to stop with the boat, with the ship, and then you are given this special equipment, special thermal equipment, where you can dive into the frozen sea, let's say. So you see, you swim among the small pieces of ice. It's something incredible. It's an experience that you're gonna remember again for the rest of your life. Then while cruising, you're also allowed to go see the ship, so you can enter the captain's room. And I mean, it's really an experience of itself, and it's an experience for all the senses, because the sight you have while navigating while sailing with the sight of the ice, the noise of the ice breaking behind you. I mean, it's really a very nice experience. Plus, on board you are served a nice meal, so it's really a complete experience, and it's the excursion that I would suggest if somebody has an extra day for a pre or post tour during this tour. We move on to the next tour, which is Iceland. The tours are thought in a way that you can either participate only to finish the tour or only to the Icelandic tour, but also you can combine, because the tour in Finland ends March 26, while this in Iceland starts on March 26. So you can also combine the 2 tours. What do you have to expect with a tour in Iceland? I mean, from a tour in Iceland, it's nature. Iceland has a fantastic nature in all the ways. It's called Iceland, but it's actually, with surprise for many people, it's actually very green. Of course, we are going to Iceland where it's end of winter time, so there could still be some snow, but you will be surprised to see how green Iceland is. Iceland is the home of the geothermal energy. If you think that 98% of the energy comes from the soil, from the geothermal energy, it's amazing. You are gonna see a lot of waterfalls. You're gonna see northern lights if we're lucky enough. You're gonna have different once in a lifetime experiences. These are just some of the pictures that I could gather. I mean, just think, why Iceland is so special. The super jeeps, the Glacial Lagoon, the possibility to see the northern lights. For those who want, also the helicopters. I mean, it's really the home of all the possible activities you may think. The tour starts and ends in Reykjavik. It couldn't be otherwise. It's the only place where there is an international airport. Of all the capital cities in the north, even if it's the northernmost city of all, actually Reykjavik is the warmest of all of them, because it's on the sea. So there is some current from the Gulf arriving all the way to Iceland. So it keeps the temperature, let's say, mild, even if of course we are in the Arctic region, so we can't expect to be out in t-shirts during the winter time. But it is not the coldest capital city here in the north. Again, it's a capital city of a European country. It's only 120,000 inhabitants. In all Iceland, there are 350,000. So 1/3 of the population lives in Reykjavik. The city center, again, is small, but it's really lovely. There are a lot of things to do, museums, especially if you're into music or into bars. There's a lot of choice. So it's really a nice, lovely and lively place, I would say as well. So the day of the arrival, we stay in Reykjavik. Then the following day, we start moving. Because the beauty of Iceland is not in Reykjavik, it's actually everything out of Reykjavik. As soon as you go into the countryside, that's where you're going to see fantastic things. So the first beautiful experience that we're going to have is an excursion called Into the Glacier, which is, we had to drive a couple of hours. We'll have a bus, of course, and a guide, and we drive a couple of hours to reach the meeting point, the starting point of the excursion, where the company that operates this comes and picks us up with a special truck, as you can see from one of the pictures. We arrive until the entrance of the glacier, let's say like that, and then we walk into this glacier and we can take all the pictures. There are several things that the guy will also talk about, the formation of the ice, the age, and all these things. But I think the pictures talk by themselves. I mean, you are just there and inside a glacier. It's really, already the thought is really beautiful. Plus, you can walk around, you can see different ice formations and different things. You can, if you like photography, you can play a bit with your camera and do fantastic shots. So it's really an amazing excursion. At the end of this excursion, we move on to our destination, which is the Snephelmus Peninsula. This is called Iceland in miniature because in a, let's say, small part of the country, you see everything that Iceland has to offer. So you see waterfalls, you see mountains, you see glaciers, you see lava caves, you see fantastic rock formations, black sand beaches. I mean, it's really a special place. It's really, I mean, arriving here it's a journey by itself. I mean, it's you're gonna see some of the most beautiful places of Earth. Among those, you're gonna see the picture on the top left. This is the most famous mountain in Iceland. If anybody of you here likes or has liked Game of Thrones, you will probably recognize that this was one of the featured backgrounds for the whole series. So Iceland was the home of many backgrounds for that TV series. But it is really a beautiful place, and you are gonna do a lot of things. Among those, you're also having lava cave visit. So we have been already into the ice cave. Now we go into the lava cave because that's what Iceland has to offer: a lot of lava and a lot of different sceneries, let's say. The following days, we move on to maybe what is most famous excursion in Iceland, which is called the Golden Circle, which includes 3 of the most touristic places in Iceland, which are the Thingvellir National Park. This park is very important both for political and historical reasons, because it's the home of the first parliament, European Parliament of all, and it's the home of the parliament where the Vikings used to gather and take decisions for the country, for Iceland. On the other hand, it's also a very important place for geology, because this is the place where the European and the American tectonic plates meet. You see the picture in the center, that's actually a part of it. So there are parts where it's really huge, where as the picture shows, but there are also parts where you can stay with 2 feet in 2 different tectonic plates. So you can make a picture where you are with a foot in Europe and with a foot in America. Again, the Golden Circle so includes the Thingvellir National Park, the geysir, so this fantastic beauty that Iceland has to offer, and not only Iceland, but of course in Iceland you can find several of those. And then Gullfoss, the most famous, the most beautiful waterfall of Iceland. We will probably see it with running water when we arrive, but you have to know that this waterfall is special because during the winter it actually freezes, so it's really a fantastic view for the ice and something fantastic effect. While driving towards the south of Iceland, we will also make a stop in this Friðheimar, which is tomato greenhouse. And then you may think that this is why should we stop in a tomato greenhouse? It's because, again, this greenhouse is special because, first of all, the thought of farming tomatoes in the Arctic region is already, let's say, something weird, something that you will never think that this could happen. Plus, once you're there, you find out. I mean, it's very interesting to find out how they farm tomatoes, which is with the use only of the geothermal energy. So they only use clean energy. They don't spend money in energy in any kind. With this energy, they can get temperature so high that they can grow tomatoes. And then with the help of the bees, of course, it's a whole process that once you're there, the guide will explain, and it's really amazing. I mean, you really say congratulations to these people who can grow tomatoes in this, let's say, very difficult place on Earth where to grow them. After that, we have a full day excursion to Jökulsárlón, which is a glacial lagoon. So let's say that the drive takes probably around 2.5–3 hours. We make a first stop at the Black Sand Beach, which is probably one of the most famous, one of the most iconic parts of Iceland, the Black Sand Beach in Dyrhólaey. Then we arrive at the Glacial Lagoon. The Glacial Lagoon is actually, I mean, it's a place where the glacier where the ice coming from the glacier just floats out to the sea, and it stops in this lagoon. It floats in this lagoon, and it's during the summer months you can also sail with a boat. It's not possible during the winter because it's too dangerous. But it really is something amazing. I mean, I couldn't be. I mean, no matter what words I use to explain it, I can't describe how beautiful it is. Part of this excursion is also to go to what is called the Diamond Beach, which is we go out to the lagoon. I mean, the ice floats out of the lagoon, and actually the small pieces they are brought back to the beach from the sea, from the waves. So it creates this effect that you see on the left, on the picture on the left. There are small pieces of ice stranded on the beach, and that's why it's called the Diamond Beach. We will be there in the afternoon when there is also this nice effect of the sun setting down, so that you can get. I mean, I think that the picture shows quite well why this beach is called the Diamond Beach, because all these pieces of ice with the reflection of the sun, they get this let's say. Yeah, they give you the sense of diamond, of precious gems, let's say. So it's really, these are really beautiful places, all located close to each other, and this the Diamond Beach and the Glacial Lagoon. The whole excursion is a full day excursion, but it's really worth visiting and spending this day in this way. There are also other stops on the way. You're gonna see some lava fields. You're gonna see Skaftafell, which is another glacier. So the day is really full of experiences and emotions. On the last day, so when we drive back to Reykjavik, before coming back to Reykjavik, we do another excursion with the super jeeps. It couldn't be otherwise. We are in Iceland, so we had to try. Super jeeps is absolutely fun, but this excursion is not only about the super jeep and the fun. It's also about to bring you to see beautiful places. We don't have a fixed schedule for this excursion. Why? Because winter is the weather in the winter time is so unpredictable that, you know, choosing today to go see a specific place could be actually a mistake, because we prefer to wake up and see how the weather is going to be, and then decide if it's better to go towards the mountains, towards the beach, towards the highlands. So for sure you're going to see some beautiful natural places, and in the meantime you combine it with the fun of the super jeeps. After the excursion, so we are probably around 11-12 in the morning. We start driving back to Reykjavik, and before arriving back to the capital city, we make a stop. Impossible to avoid it. We have to make a stop at the Blue Lagoon, which is the most famous geothermal bath in Iceland. There are many of them, really many of them. Some are more famous, some are less, some are bigger or smaller. I always believe that the Blue Lagoon is still the best, and especially in the winter time, it's not as crowded as it can be in the summer, so it's a really nice experience. We will arrive there when there's still daylight, but also it's going to be late afternoon, so it's going to be quite dark, and I mean, it's going to be a fantastic experience also with the sunset. So it is really the place in Iceland, and I can only suggest to make a stop there. The tour in Iceland is over. Now we move on to the last tour, which is in Norway. Here we chose another period, which is May, which is, according to me, the best period to go. Why? Because finally we got the spring, we get the first taste of summer. At the same time, we avoid the crowds. So this is a very important detail, because especially when you reach the fjord area, you can be scared by how many people there are in the fjords during the summer months. While setting the date around the end of May, it's going to be a perfect time, so that it's still quite exclusive in a way. A small presentation about Norway. It's 5.5 million people, so it's a territory. The territory is quite big. It's one of the biggest European countries, but there are only 5.5 million people living there. The capital city is Oslo, which is also the starting point of our tour. The slogan of Norway, Visit Norway, is powered by nature. So again, like Iceland, you don't have to expect fantastic. I mean, fantastic, yes, but you don't have to expect a lot of monuments. They cannot. Norway, these places, they cannot offer the same history, the same kind of monuments that you find in France or in Italy, for example. But still, nature here is really at a high level, max level. The history of Norway is actually the history of a very poor country, not one of the poorest among the Scandinavian countries. But Norway was a poor country until the 60s. Then they found the oil and became extremely rich. And today they are probably the richest country in all Europe. Here is where you can eat fantastic salmon. They claim and they brag that they taught the Japanese to use salmon for the sushi. So they believe they are the creators of the salmon in the sushi. In this tour, we're going to see Oslo, we're going to see Bergen, which is the second biggest city of Norway, and of course, we're going to see the fjords. That's the main reason why people travel to Norway. Another little thing, little extra information that I want to add is that the arrival date, as you see here, is May 17th, which is the national day of Norway. So you don't have to be scared, but actually you have to be very happy to arrive on this day and to see the many streets in Oslo that day will be closed to leave space to the celebration of the national day of Norway, where you will see a lot of people with their traditional dresses. Also, as you see a small picture here in the bottom part of the slide. So you will see a lot of people dressed up in the traditional dresses and with Norwegian flags. This is a very special extra for this tour. So we start, of course, with Oslo, capital city of Norway. It's very interesting to see its architecture. It's full of museums. If you're into art, Oslo is really the place to visit because there are so many art museums. Of course, Edvard Munch was from this part of the world, so there are museums dedicated to him. There is also a Viking ship museum. I mean, Oslo is really a very nice place to visit. It offers a lot of things, all in a small place. The only, let's say, part that we're going to visit, of course, with our guide, that is not located right in the city center, but just a bit outside, is this fantastic Vigelands Park that you see a picture here in the middle. It's a beautiful park with a lot of history, a lot of culture, and a lot of sculptures as well. So this will be part of our guided tour of Oslo. We spent 2 nights here, so the night of the arrival, then we spend a full day visiting Oslo, and a second night again. Our hotel is located in the city center, so it's very easy to go find a restaurant for the evening, for the dinners. After this, we go to the station. We take a train towards the region of the fjords. You will see after 3-4 hours of train ride that the scenery, of course, changes completely. We go up into the mountains. We reach a small station called Myrdal. Here we change train, and here you take the most famous train of all Norway, which is called the Flåmsbana. It's a train that goes up from the mountain from 1,000 meters approximately, all the way down to the sea, to the fjord. The Sonny Fjord is called, it's the most important fjord of Norway. The train ride takes approximately 1 hour, and there are a couple of stops to see a waterfall and to see a fantastic viewpoint where you can really make all the shots you want. The train stops and of course waits for the passengers to come back on board. I mean, it's again, it's difficult for me to explain with words. You have to go there and see, because the sceneries are so beautiful. You go from the mountain and you go all the way down to the sea, and it's really amazing. We spend the night in Flåm, which is a village located right on the shores of the fjord, so you will see the fjord right in front of you from the room of your hotel. The following day, we are going to have a fjord tour. So with the boat, we go on the fjord and we do a couple of hours of excursion with the boat. We chose the smaller boat, the one that you see in the picture here, not the big one with 300 more seats, because like this is more exclusive. You can move faster. You can reach places that otherwise you wouldn't be able to see, and I'm sure they are going to have amazing pictures from this experience. And also, I mean, just sometimes I also tell my guests to put the cameras away and just see with their eyes because these are really once in a lifetime experiences. We have an afternoon free back in Flåm, where there are several activities to book if you want. You can go biking, you can go kayaking. There are different possibilities to spend the afternoon. Otherwise, you can just relax in your beautiful room with a view on the fjord. So it's absolutely up to you. From Flåm, we go to Bergen with another boat. It takes 3 hours approximately. And we reach Bergen, where we spend the last 2 nights of our tour. Bergen is famous. I mean, it's a very nice city. It's famous because of its proximity to the fjord. So it's called the Pearl of the Fjord. It's the starting point of many excursions to the fjord. But it's also important for its past. It was one of the cities of the Hanseatic League. So you can go here and you see a lot of history. You see the city center is called the Bergen, and it's actually UNESCO's World Heritage. With the picture with all the colored houses gives you an idea of what it is. In Bergen, there is a fantastic fish market that you're going to visit. We're going to have a city tour, a walking city tour, because Bergen is pretty small, so everything is, again, it's in walking distance. So you're going to have your guide who is going to guide you around and show you the beauty of this place, of the city. And of course, it's impossible to avoid to pay a visit to the fish market. Among the experiences, we suggest you also to take the funicular and go up to the Floyen Mountain to enjoy a beautiful view over the city. It has a lot to offer. So again, we will have a city tour here and an afternoon and a free afternoon where you can go into different places. Again, a lot of museums you are not. I mean, you will actually ask for more time in Bergen because there are so many things to do that is really, the offer is very big. So this is all in all the presentation of the three tours. Now I give the word back to Melinda.
Thanks, Claudio. I'm excited about going to Norway next year. It looks like a beautiful place, someplace I haven't been, and I know it's trending and popular in the travel industry. One of the things I'll say to everybody, Travel Central, as I said earlier, have been in business for 33 years, but we definitely owe you a resource. 2021 has been an interesting year, and I think 2022 is going to be another interesting year, but we'll have all the tools and resources to make sure that you know what to do when you travel throughout the world. And finally, I don't see any questions. We're going to flip one more slide. We do these virtual seminars mainly just to give you ideas of what's out there. I know a lot of times people are planning vacations and doing things, and we just want to make sure when you go on vacation, you really have the best experience possible doing the things you want to do. We have one coming up on Quebec, Japan, and then we're actually going to have a live seminar here in New Orleans called the Vacation Expo. If you're here in the New Orleans Metairie area, please join us. And finally, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. If not, Claudia, do you have anything else that you'd like to share? If not, we'll go ahead and close the meeting. We thank you all for joining us. Okie dokie. Thank you, everyone. Y'all have a good afternoon. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.